Yesterday, my baby, my only child, graduated from high school.
Joey Micah Early.
Woo, yay! Woo!
Callie Novak Herb.
And, it was a joyous occasion, but also bittersweet because she's my one and only. And in short order, I will be an empty nester. From the moment that I realized and it was confirmed that I was expecting, from the moment that my pregnancy was confirmed, my whole world has revolved around her. I've been to every party, every assembly, everything from pre-K to fifth grade. And then when she transitioned to middle school, I began to, take a step back and allow her to begin to spread her wings. And then when she transitioned to high school, I allow her almost full independence. I am not a helicopter parent, and that surprises a lot of people because I do have somewhat of an intense personality as it relates to, being meticulous about things that I do. And ensuring that I put out the best product. And, I like to control factors that I can control. That's just the truth. And with my daughter, I purposely took the stance of allowing her to operate independently, to take first shots at any, conflicts that she had either with, her fellow students, friends, and or academic conflicts. If there was something that was transpiring with a teacher, I let her take first crack at it. Talk to the teacher, see what you all come up with, see if you can work through this. This way, I enabled her to begin to form and stretch out in her own problem-solving capability and skills. And then I could help her to refine those areas that still needed to be refined. And or I can step in as a parent to say, okay, I allowed Joy to take first crack at it. Now we're all going to have a meeting, Joy, myself, the teacher, and quite frankly, my mother, who is a 36-year veteran educator, because she could, even though I have a master's in education, my focus is adult learning and development. And she could often, translate in those areas where I wasn't as familiar with how they do things in K through 12, or their reasoning or methodologies or any of those things, and the behaviors that they have to deal with, just like they aren't as familiar when we talk about adult learning and those principles and techniques and methodologies that I would use. So my mother was a great intermediary because, I'm a mama bear. That's just the truth. And she could be objective and speak to the situation from both sides of the fence. One, from my perspective as a parent, and from hers as a grandparent, but also from the teacher's perspective, having spent 36 years in the classroom herself. She could often, give me explanation or some insight as to why things were transpiring the way that they were as it related to Joey's interaction with her teacher. So that worked well. But I'm happy to report that my daughter had a very successful high school career, graduating with high honors, which means that she kept anywhere from a 3.5 to a 3.99 throughout her entire high school tenure, which I'm very, very proud of. And one thing that has always been reinforced that I wanted to share with you today, beyond just popping my collar as a proud mother, is that what you put in your kids, you will get out. Our children are good soil. I am a woman of faith. I have said that before. I'm a Christian, and I just was reminded of the verse in Matthew, the 13th chapter, verses 23 through 33, that says, with an emphasis on verse 23, but the seed falling on good soil refers to someone who hears the word and understands it. This is the one who produces a crop yielding 100, 60, or 30 times what is sown. And so our children are that good soil. I mean, the word is talking about us and hearing the word of God, But as the ones who have been blessed to be the caretaker, to, bring these children into the world and provide for them and care for them and love them, we are also now speaking word into good soil. And so, as I was saying, I've never really been a helicopter parent. I've never been one to really be on her until, this year. My daughter had horrible senioritis. Yeah, and I did too. That's the truth. But I'm glad that we have the kind of relationship that she was able to express to me, like, this is what's really going on, Ma. This is how I'm feeling, blah, blah, blah. And that I was close enough to the 18-year-old version of me to understand that you've done all this work, that you've survived this awful time, which, I'm not going to talk about anymore. We already know what I'm talking about in this last 2 years, what we've been through globally. But so I get it. You're tired. You felt like you've put in the work. But I really was like, come on, baby. We're at the finish line. You have to finish strong. And I've never really been one to nag about academics. But in these last 90 days, a girl has pulled out every stop to get it done. And just so very pleased to know I didn't even need to do all that. She graduated with high honors. She was on her stuff. She was finishing the race. Everything that I put in her, even if I don't see it right now, even if you don't see it right now, our children are good ground. We will see the fruits. Seed, time, harvest. Her entire life, I've been planting seeds. And now I just sit back. There's time. She has to grow and evolve and have her own experiences and allow those seeds to germinate and to begin to develop in her life. And then, like now, I'm beginning to see harvest. I've been seeing harvest her whole life. I am excited about what's to come. And I just want to encourage you, if you're like me, it's okay. It's time to cut the apron strings. Am I going to miss her? Without a doubt. Am I going to be worried about her? I'm sure. Will she make some decisions I don't agree with? Absolutely. But she is good ground. And there may be times as a mother that never changes. She will always be my baby, whether she's, 18, 28, 38, has her own kids, 58, as long as I am allowed to be on this earth. And even beyond, she's always going to be my baby. And so I just want to encourage you that, I'm starting to get a bit overwhelmed with all this college stuff. Mind you, I have 3, almost 4 degrees. I have a bachelor's degree, and then I have 2 advanced degrees and 1 that I am 6 credits shy of. I have been through this process as a student. I've not been through this process as a parent. And I have a daughter who just wants to enjoy the rest of her high school existence up through the summer, who is a bit overwhelmed herself as we look at all of the requirements, the paperwork, and, the to-do list, and the fact that she will actually be leaving the nest, that it's easy to get caught up in that and begin to allow worry to fester, to begin to allow the fact that we're inundated with all these tasks to take over and not be present. Good soil. I am reminded all the time that she is good soil. Everything I put into her, every seed that I planted, it will come to pass. And even beyond what I've said to her, all I have to do is look back a little bit. Right? Hindsight is 20/20. That's the saying. If I think about, I've heard my brother and I both say this about my mother and my father in the lessons that we learned. You've heard, if you've been following me for any time, any length of time, then you've also heard me say it here. All of the things, all of the seeds that were planted in my life, in my heart, in my mind, in my spirit, they're here. And I have a harvest. I can draw on those even now. 30, 5, 10. I don't want to, I don't really want to date myself here. But, years later, I can draw on those lessons because my brother and I, we were good soil. We were good ground. And my parents were planting seeds in good ground. So this is a season. This is a season of apron cutting, and we are ready. We have prepared our children to go forth. Whatever the season may be, seasons change. For me, this is the first fork in the road, if you will, for my daughter and I. For some of you, you have children that are graduating from college, you have children that are getting married, you have children that are moving and accepting new job offers, whatever the case, grandchildren, whatever the case may be reminded that you have done a good work and that your kids are good ground. And in due season, you will reap the harvest.